Good evening, everybody. How you doing? Guess what? Guess what time it is? It's time for the Ruby Girl Talk, and I feel amazing tonight because I have an amazing guest. Her name is Tonya Ware. Hi, Tonya. How are you?
Hi, I am blessed. I'm grateful. I'm glad to be here.
I am glad you are here too. And I see your name is different on Zoom. Do you want me to call you by your Zoom name?
No, where is I
Okay.
noticed that too. I need to update that. Thank you for asking.
That's okay. I just want to make sure I call you by your right name.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Tanya. So tonight, me and Miss Tanya, we're continuing on the breast cancer journey. I've had breast cancer survivors on because I want to encourage those that are dealing with breast cancer or any type of cancer, any type of illness that you can survive if you have the faith and if you trust God. If they did it, then you can do it too. Sometimes people need to just see it done. They just need to see somebody cross the finish line to know that they can run the race and cross it too. So Tanya is going to be open with you. We talk about the breast cancer journey. We talk about, yeah, they made it, but what about the outer part? And what about the parts in the middle? So we're going to fully cover everything. So before we get started, Miss Tanya, I want you to go on my page, find this video, and want you to share it. And audience, I want you to follow the instructions too. Hit that free share button. Listen, this is what happens when you hit that button, y'all. If you never hit that button to share before, when you hit that button, boom, money just come out of your computer. Just kidding. No, a great bunch of people get to share and listen and hear the story, this powerful story that Tanya's going to say tonight and share with us tonight. So while she does that, I'm going to share about Ruby Girl. So in case you don't know, Ruby Girl comes from Proverbs 31 and 10. Who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above the price of a ruby? Ladies, that one little piece, that scripture right there is so encouraging to us. It validates our value. It validates our worth, that we are so rare and precious to God, that we are his priceless princesses. There's no price that anybody can put on you. You don't depreciate. Your value do not go down no matter where you at in life, no matter what you do or what you have done. It can be forgiven, it can be forgotten. You just have to come to the Father who has open arms. And that was for somebody tonight. Somebody that might have been out there that's not feeling rubyish, not feeling like a ruby. Maybe you feeling like a zirconia. Never that. Your value stays the same. So, Tanya, are you ready to get this party started tonight?
Yes, I am.
So I want you to just tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. So, as stated, I am Tonya Ware. I am a beautiful survivor of breast cancer. And I'm an advocate of breast cancer. And I tell people I'm not just an advocate in the month of October, but all year long, because we definitely need to let others know that they can too be a survivor and a thriver. I am a breast cancer survivor of 2 years to be exact. I am a visionary author of a Amazon number one bestseller. It's an anthology, and the title of it is Survivorship: Rediscover Yourself Through Survivorship. And I am also I've been featured in four local magazines. And I am the 2022 Atlanta Falcons honorary captain last year in the month of October. They honored me. I was on the Jumbotron national TV. It was so exciting to be honored that month, to represent women that have passed, those that are thrivers and survivors. That was an exciting time. And I'm also the founder of A Beautiful Survivor, which is the title of my story in the anthology book that I mentioned earlier. I'm an entrepreneur, content, and digital creator.
I learned something new. We're sharing. We're doing more sharing. That is
Yes.
great. So you see that she's credible. She's credible to talk about the journey because she's been through the journey. So Tanya, we're gonna go back in time just a little bit. It's not a
Okay.
day that you really want to go back to, but it's a day that changed your life. So can you talk about the day that you learned that you had breast cancer?
Yes. So I would, because of the history in my family, I'm actually the eighth woman in my family's combined to be diagnosed with breast cancer. And so I would go annually without fail to get my mammograms. Sometimes they would say, "Oh, we see something," but it would turn out to be nothing, and I would go home and everything was fine. Well, in 2019, my doctor told me that he saw something and advised that I go to Northside for an ultrasound, and then COVID hit. So I didn't feel comfortable going anywhere near hospital, doctor's office, or any place like that. So I canceled my appointment. I forgot about myself. The year went on, got to be October, November, and a pimple formed under my armpit, my right armpit. And I thought it was a little odd. I thought it was a boil, an overactive pimple, and it bothered me. So I took the time because I knew how to do a self breast examination. I took the time to lay down and I performed a self breast examination. On the right side of my breast, I noticed a lump and it was it was scary. I have to be real. It was a scary moment. But the first thing that hit my brain was they told you they saw something and that you needed to get it checked out. So I forgot about Tanya, which is something, honestly, we should not do. So in that self breast examination, I scheduled my appointment and saw my doctor. They did other tests. And that's when I started to have conversations about my choice. Do I want a lumpectomy or mastectomy? How do you foresee, yourself down the line in terms of the type of reconstruction and so forth you want? But I definitely had to go through chemo after the surgery and I had radiation.
Mm,
Yeah. It was about 9 months to be exact. I say
9 months.
that there's something significant to that 9 months because 9 months is about rebirth,
Mm,
right?
yes. It,
Yes.
and you know what I've noticed of other breast cancer survivors is how the doctors ask you what treatment you want. Do you want a lumpectomy or I hope I'm saying it right, mexectomy?
Oh,
And it
mhm.
seemed like they should recommend what you actually need. So it's a lot of decision making that takes place on your behalf as far as your health. I always thought the doctors told you, which route you should go.
So every woman's, I would say every woman's journey is different.
Mhm.
No, um, mine might be like I was stage two, for example, but it may be stage two, HER2 positive, HER2 negative. All of that comes into factor when it comes to your diagnosis and having conversations with your doctors about what your next steps are. And I can also say that I equate it to running a race, preparing for a race. I used to run 5Ks and 10Ks, and you start at the finish line. When they tell you that you have a diagnosis, when you start at the finish line, the gun goes off, pow, you got to run. You don't
Yes.
have time to tie your shoe. You don't have time to get a drink of water. You don't have time to go to the bathroom. You don't have time when it comes to making those life changing decisions and choices for yourself. Your doctor can give you recommendations, but at the end of the day, it's up to you in terms of what it is that you want to do. Now, in some cases, you don't have a choice in what you want to do, but I was thankful that the choice that I made, which was a lumpectomy with reconstruction of both breasts,
Hmm.
I was thankful that I was able to make that choice myself.
Mm. So, share just some of the challenges you faced during your breast cancer journey, and how did a nurse navigator support you through those difficult times? I personally have never heard of a nurse navigator.
That was a blessing. One of the blessings. I was thankful that I stuck with the doctors and the care that I had been with for so many years, because I was fortunate enough when I got my diagnosis, my gynecologist, thankfully, he referred me to his surgeon, his personal surgeon. And so from there, um, I was able to get the care that I needed. um I give my props and my praises to Northside. Northside definitely was there for me, and so I try to share all of the tools and things that help me get through my journey. I call it my health season, with the proper care. And the nurse navigator, she was definitely on point with a lot of things. If I needed to find out, let's say, a dietitian, she would look for a dietitian for me. If I needed to know about some of the, I don't know, some financial assistance, she assisted me with that. If I needed to know what I could use to rinse my mouth during
Mhm.
chemo, she helped me with that. She basically was the nurse navigator, is essentially the person that holds your hand from the beginning of the process all the way throughout. And even if I pick up the phone or send her an email to this day, she would still be there to give me the advice and the research and things of that nature that helped me get through.
That's good to know because when you go through the journey, for most women, they've never been through it before, honestly. So they don't know where to start. It's a whole new process. And it's not time is not always on your side. So you want to make the right decisions. And so to have a nurse navigator, I'm quite sure helps out so much during this time because it's somebody that's walked other women through this. So they
Mhm.
kind of know, like you said, you was telling me about a coating that you can put on your mouth that'll help you when you eat as far as the chemo. I've
Yes.
never even heard of that, never. And I think that is a big part of people, anybody that goes through chemo, is that they say how things don't taste right and they really don't have an appetite and everything like that. So that's good to know. Now, what advice would you give to someone that's currently going through a breast cancer diagnosis and treatment? How can they find the strength, and this is the word for the day, and resilience to navigate this challenging journey and emerge as a survivor like you have?
Resilience is definitely, that's a good word to describe it. Some of the advice that I give women that I've encouraged and inspired through and supported through their journey are some of the things that helped me, which is to make sure that you're asking questions, whatever that may be. Make sure that you're asking questions. Don't just take what you're being told for face value. It's your health, it's your body, it's what you're going through. If you don't feel comfortable with it, ask questions. I did that. And I wanted to know from an African American woman's point of view, how is this particular chemo, and we call it a cocktail, how has this affected Black women? What are the studies, showing? How has, from my oncologist, I currently take, every day I have to take a hormone therapy. I think I might be saying it wrong. It's a hormone replacement pill. So it basically keeps the cancer at bay, and it's for about 5 years or more. Well, I asked my oncologist, how has this affected women of color? So never be afraid to ask questions. Arm yourself with as much information as possible. When you're going through that journey, they're giving you so much information. Take someone with you to your appointments also, so that they can hear what you might be missing, make note of it, regurgitate it. When they're with you, they can say, "Hey, do you remember what they said? They said to do this, that, and the third." Um, your faith.
Mm.
Uh, I remember, and I try not to sugarcoat it, but chemo was my most difficult moment of the journey, and my faith got me through. I can remember moments where I would get up and I was weak, or I just it was tough for me to eat. And I would be literally walking, pacing back and forth, calling out to Jesus. The blood of Jesus, your faith will definitely, more than anything, get you through. Don't give up. You like tough it out. Make it about you. Definitely make it about you. Tune out everything and everyone else. Positivity. Get rid of the toxic, people. Anything negative. At that moment, the advice that I was given by other women who had gone through that journey was to make it about you. Find your zen, whatever it is in your bedroom, the place where you will spend most of your time, through that journey. Beautify it. Candles. Those were things that definitely helped me. My backyard, it was like an oasis to me. So those are some of the things that I share with women.
Mm. You're right about being positive. I always like to think about um what's his name, Les Brown, when he said he had cancer, and he said he started reading stories about people that had prostate cancer and that they survived from it. He said that's all he wanted to read about. He wasn't reading about people that died from it. He read about statistics that talked about survival, and I believe that's feeding your faith. Just like you can feed your fear, like if you have a spirit of fear and you watching these horror movies and getting on scary rides, you're actually feeding that fear. And I believe you can feed your faith too by being surrounded, like you said, a peaceful place. It's nothing
Mhm,
like being somewhere and it's quiet and it's peaceful. It's like everything in your body just responds to that peace. And you fighting for your life. So no one should be more important than you. It's for once, ladies, it's okay to say it's all about me. Why? Because you're fighting for your life. And it might not be breast cancer. It could be any other type of cancer. You need to get rid of people that stress you out, people that saying negative things. Well, my cousin, she passed for it. I think that's the wrong thing we can say to anybody is we find out they have something and then we tell them how it negatively affected people. Like when this is not pertaining to health, but like with my car, when I had an accident and they were talking about they were possibly going to total it. And so when I went to the tow yard, the lady said, "You gonna get your plate off?" I said, "Nope." I said, "Because they're not gonna total my car." And so, and I was talking to a friend of mine, he was like, "Well, if they flagged it, they're gonna total it." And da da da. I hurried up, shut the conversation down, and said good night, because I don't care what people were saying. My faith was that my car was not going to be total, and it wasn't. And that's how you have to be with anything in your life. You got to shut down those people that come in. Well, okay, I don't need you here. You got to think about the man that his friends tore the roof up to let him down to see Jesus. That's who you want to be surrounded by. You want to be surrounded by people that's going to tear the roof of heaven up and
mhm,
bombard heaven where I need my sister to be healed. And one thing too, I gotta say, some people go through this journey and don't tell anybody. They don't
mm,
have anybody praying for them. They don't have anybody interceding. And I get it because they like, well, I don't want people to be worried. I don't want the negativity. But guess what? Two or more can put a lot to flight. A partner can help you when your faith fail, and that partner is still being strong and praying for you. And so I say, if I ever have cancer, y'all gonna know it. I'm gonna let all y'all know, because I want all my followers to be praying for me. I need all the backup I can get. Do you think by sharing your journey, that's what helped you too?
Oh, definitely. I still do. I have a support like none other. I was, of course, prayers. I was getting notes in the mail, and that's something else that kept me going, because I would take those cards and those notes, and in my bathroom, I would take them up there so that, when I go to that sink, and I'm standing there, just to see that it was, oh man, it was so encouraging. It gave me that extra oomph that I needed.
Mhm.
So I agree with you to share your journey with others. That's what we're supposed to do, whether it be breast cancer or anything that we go through, those trials and tribulations, to give God the glory. That's how we're blessed, and we bless others, is to share our journeys and what we've gone through. I agree with you. And when I meet women that are 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 38, woo, yeah.
Mhm.
We hug, we cry. It lets me know that it's gonna be okay, that I too can make it that far.
Amen. We overcome by testimonies. Your testimony encourage somebody else. So we're about to go on our 1 minute break. And during this time, the spotlight is on Miss Tanya. And so for 60 seconds, 1 minute, Tanya is going to just talk to you any kind of way she want to, anything that's on her heart, anything she want to share. But she's going to make sure she tell you how you can get in contact with her, how you can stay in touch with her, because it might be somebody out there that hear your story and say, hey, I want to connect with her. I need a prayer partner. I need somebody that's been there to help me along the way. So while you do that, I'm gonna go on social media and see if people done shared. I'm gonna share, see what they're saying. So Tanya, the floor is yours for 60 seconds.
Awesome. So I would just like to share. I was just talking about how, our testimonies are an inspiration to others. And at the end of my journey, one of the things that I walked away with was the fact that I'm now on an assignment. It's no longer about Tanya. It's no longer about me. It's about encouraging other women, inspiring other women and men. Breast cancer is not just a woman issue, it's a male issue as well. So, the passage that I thought about is Matthew 5 and 16. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. So just keep that in mind, because that's essentially what we're here for. We're vessels to spread the good word and cheer.
So how can they connect with you on social
Oh,
media?
yes, thank you.
You're
My
welcome.
email address is U as in up, R as in Robert, A as in Adam, beautiful survivor at gmail.com. Feel free to send me an email. You can also follow me on Facebook, which is Tonya Ware, a beautiful survivor. And I'm on Instagram, which is also a beautiful survivor. And that's A as in Adam, beautiful survivor. That's my Instagram handle.
I love that. I love how you said you're just not a survivor. You're a beautiful survivor. And I'm glad, Tanya, that you're still here. You still have purpose on this earth. And God is going to use your pain definitely for your purpose. I always say, once you take that pain, you'll find your purpose in your pain. And it's to help other people that's going through. They might not be going through cancer, it might be diabetes, it might be just anything. You just never know. But the fact that you're not a breast cancer survivor, you are a survivor, period. A
Yes.
beautiful survivor. Period. So we have Blair Cherie out there. Hey, Blair Cherie, how you doing? Dr. Elizabeth, she's out there. She interviewed me earlier. How you doing, Dr. Elizabeth? And we have, I don't want to mess up your name, sir. I think it's uh Hala. I'm not even gonna go on the last name, but thank you for watching. You know who you are. Really appreciate you for watching. All right. So now we go to the second part of the show, and it's a little bit different. So we talked about the beginning of her journey, some of the challenges she had, and how a nurse navigator helped her, and the strength and resilience that she pulled in from not only from herself, but from people that were connected to God. She had a tribe that was helping her get well. So now we want to talk more about the outer part. People don't really talk about the outer part. We're like, okay, you survived, everything is fine. We think everything returns back to normal, but it don't always. When
Mm-mm.
you go through something like that, your body changes, your mind changes, and your spirituality changes. It's a lot of changes. So tell us what life is like for a survivor, I like to say, or a conqueror of breast cancer.
Yes, I love that conqueror because I definitely conquered it.
Yes.
I'll say that when you go through something, as you put it earlier, um, a near death experience, because if I didn't, honestly, if I didn't check myself, my situation could have been worse. My stage could have been worse. And coming through that, I now have a different perspective on life. I smile more. I give love more. I love on people more. When I meet people and they ask me, how are you doing? This is something that I've talked about recently on the CEO District too. And I share this with others. In fact, a lady today, she was like, oh my God, I love that. So I was in the drive-through. I'll just share this story. I was in the drive-through and a lady, the young lady at the window, I asked her, how are you doing? And she said, I'm grateful. I thought, wow, I love it. To be able to say that it's to me not only talking to someone else, but I'm also talking to my Heavenly Father, letting him know I am grateful. You know, words are powerful. So going through that journey, I'm grateful. And it's something that I say now every day, all day when asked, how are you doing? I'm grateful. I'm grateful to be sitting here on this show talking to you all. Because again, at the end of the day, it was up to my Heavenly Father, hey, whether I'll come through this thing, how I'll come through this thing. But it was also left up to me to be positive and to do the things that I was advised to do so that I would be successful in my healing, be successful, with everything that I was going through. So getting on the other side, I have a whole different perspective on life. I still try to eliminate toxicity, people that are not good for me, people with the wrong attitude. But I do try to talk to them and let them know that someone else is going through something far worse. You can get through whatever it is that you're dealing with. So my speech is different now. My walk is different now. My faith is definitely different now. I spend more time praise and worship in the morning. Like that's the first thing that I do. This is me giving back to
Mhm.
what has been given to me, which is life, honestly. So I'm on an assignment. That's what I call it. Every day before I walk out the door, I pray and I ask, hey, who is it? Prepare me to be able to receive whomever it is that I will talk to, encounter, so that when I am speaking, how I carry myself, that they will be receptive, that they will understand that I'm doing what I'm here now to do. It's no longer about Tonya. I'm not selfish. I've never was, honestly. But it has definitely changed my walk and my talk getting through that journey.
Amen. And we talked about how sometimes after cancer, that sometimes, like you were talking about, some disabilities come about. Like I know a friend of mine, she said she's had lymphedema, um, and a new author. I can't pronounce
Neuropathy.
my. Thank you.
Yes,
Yes, neuropathy. I can't pronounce my words tonight. Y'all know what I'm saying.
you're doing great. You're doing great.
But all these technical terms, why they can't be two words?
If it was that
But
easy.
I know. And so, it's a lot of things that come, but then you just like, okay, you're alive and you keep going, but it's still things that you deal with. You're grateful for life, but your quality of life is maybe a little different. And
Mm.
then we think once the cancer is beat, but sometimes, like you said, you still have to take medicine, you still have to take treatments. Your life has changed. It's never the same from the moment that you hear that you have cancer. And you say also it can create a disability. Were you talking
Yeah,
about? Yes.
yes.
Mhm.
So my hands. I've run into a lot of women who went through chemo radiation. That's what changes things. Not only do you lose your hair, but um, it changes your the strength in your body, your limbs, your extremities. In my case, and a lot of the women that I've talked to, the use of our hands, the strength in our hands is difficult for me sometimes, like especially towards the very end. It was difficult for me to open a gas cap on a car, like twisting it open. It was so frustrating. Opening a jar, my hands hurt. I did experience just a little bit of lymphedema in my right arm. The extremity in my right arm, like I can't lift heavy weight anymore, period. I'm restricted in those things because if I do, the lymphedema may flare up and then I have to go to therapy. And who wants to do that? And the therapy that I had experienced was for weeks. So you do walk away with disabilities. You do walk away still dealing with pain. We do walk away not whole again. Um, and scars. When I was going through radiation, I share how I walked around the house with scarves. I have a plethora of scarves. I love scarves and accessories, but it was good that I had them because I was able to, at that moment, wear them. I didn't want my sons to see the burns on my neck. I didn't want them to see the port. I didn't want them to see what I was going through. So I was, I guess you can say, ashamed of what I was experiencing, and I was hiding it. But after a while, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I need them to see what I'm going through, and it's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do walk away still suffering from having gone through that journey.
Mm. So I'm glad she shared it so we know to keep encouraging, to keep not just stop when they rung the cancer bell, but to keep encouraging because they still need our support. And like I said, those that haven't been through it, we don't know, but now we do know. So now we know when we see our sister kind of struggle to open something that she used to just, it was effortless for us, that we just take and say, hey girl, I got it for you, without really calling it out, but giving her the help that she needs. So let's talk about your book, Tanya. Survivorship. Rediscover yourself through survivorship. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did, and
Okay.
I forgot to bring it with me, but
That's okay. Tell us about a specific moment or story or experience that led to the creation of the anthology.
so I have actually experienced more than just breast cancer. And when it came down to deciding on the title of the book, the spirit said, hey, this can become a series, meaning this may not be the only book. And I have been asked, when are you going to do the next one and the next one? I've discussed, I experienced bullying, when I was young, domestic violence when I was young. I've been through divorce. I was a single mother. Those are different things that we all go through. Some childhood trauma. And so I felt like the title of the book, Survivorship, Rediscovering Yourself Through Survivorship, was the best title for the anthology. I reached out to some women who actually two of the women in the anthology are also breast cancer survivors. Another woman experienced childhood trauma, and the fifth woman, she experienced childhood trauma and divorce. So it wasn't just about, like I said, breast cancer. You know, we walk away surviving quite a bit. Uh, you name it. So I felt like that was broad enough to cover everything so that I didn't just single out breast cancer, and that I can continue the series as well and write more anthologies.
I like that. A continuation, a plan. All right. And you're right. I know that we find our true self through what we go through. We want that glorious life, trouble free life, and that extra protection of being a saint. But it's not like that. We actually become more of a target when we become a saint, because now our enemy, now we his enemy. You know,
Mhm.
before we was like cool with him and whatever he wanted us to do, we were fine with. But now that we're woke and we see that the things he had us doing was making us an enemy of God, now we become his enemy and he rages at us. So as saints, we can't expect to not suffer. Sometimes we will go through more suffering than others. I think about who I talked about, Job. You know, Job was considered to be upstanding. Even God bragged, not well, what I say brag, but God was, I guess so, was bragging about him and everything. So it wasn't that Job did anything wrong. It was the fact that he was walking in right standing that he got tested, and because the enemy want to know, oh, while it's good you with God, but what about when it's bad? Because some
Mhm.
people will actually just leave God because it's bad. But you can't have God without having the good and the bad. It's in any relationship that you have. And so I'm glad once again that you're still here. I'm glad that you're able to sow seeds into other ladies and to be an example of a beautiful survivorship. That one lady that gets that call today, maybe she'll hear this video and she'll look at you and say, if God did it for her, gotta do it for me. So I'm gonna give you a 2-minute closeout. You can say anything you want, but make sure you tell them how they can connect with you on social media and your email address, because we're older, so we probably forgot it already. So just remind us again. So Tanya, 2-minute closeout, and then I'll come back after you.
Okay, so really quickly, a beautiful survivor. I just want to explain. It's not just the aesthetic of it. It's not how we look. It's about the beauty in the ashes, and that is essentially what it's about. A beautiful survivor. It's like the phoenix that rose up out of that fiery furnace, and now it's beautiful, right? It's our testimony. It's our story. You can reach me at you up this U as in up, R as in Robert, a beautiful survivor at gmail.com. You can also reach me at a beautiful survivor on Instagram, and on Facebook. I'm under Tonya Ware, beautiful survivor as well. Thank you.
That's it. You got 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say to us?
Um, I would just say it's important to get checked. Don't let time go by if you not have not had a mammogram, if you not have not followed up on a mammogram. I have met women that have never had a mammogram. I've met women that are afraid, and I get it. Believe me, I get it. I understand. But you don't want it to be a situation where you could have been a stage 1, but you're at a stage 4. Chemo is no joke. You want to catch things in the beginning as far ahead as you can. Self care is so important. Take care of yourself, see about yourself. Self breast examinations, you can do them in the shower, you can do them before you go to bed, when you get up. It's just a matter of feeling around. You can Google it. You can Google self breast exams. It's just so important that we take care of ourselves, that we go to the doctor, ask questions, get checked. And this isn't just a fight for women either. I've discovered that it's also a fight for some men. And it's odd that more and more men are now dealing with breast cancer. And not only that, it's as young as 21 for women. 21. So
Mm,
definitely take care of yourself.
mm. And I get it. I started taking mammograms when I was 19.
Mm,
Um, the doctors found lumps and whatever. And I remember I took my first mammogram when I was 19. I was scared, but in my mind I was thinking I'm too young, to have cancer. And back when I was 19, you really didn't hear of anybody in their 20s, having cancer. And it's something that now is showing up earlier. I'll never forget when my cousin was in the hospital. She had pancreatic cancer, and I had went to the chapel and I met this lady, and she asked me to come pray for her daughter. And her daughter was 26 and she had breast cancer. And I would check on her, and one day I came and I went in the room, and it was a whole different atmosphere because she had passed. She was 26 years old. She had passed from breast cancer. And
mm,
it was like that was the first time I encountered somebody in their 20s that had it and that had passed from it. And it just seems like it's prevalent now that they're getting
mm.
younger and younger. And I just want to say thank you, Tanya, for sharing your story, your before, your during, and your after. I'm glad that you were celebrated in the NFL, got to be a complimentary
Yes.
coach. You deserve that honor. You deserve to be a representation because you are a beautiful survivor. And I like what you said. The beautiful comes from the beauty out of the ashes, out of the fire that you walked through and you came through. You might have had singed just a little bit, but you wasn't burnt out. You came out with determination, and you came out ready to help others. And I thank God once again that yours was not unto death. And I pray that it does not return, and
Mm,
that you will always be that beautiful survivor, and you will always be speaking life into those that are coming behind you. They're scared, they just got the news, that don't know if they're going to live or if they even want to live, because some people don't want to live after they go through all that and see all the changes in their body, not realizing that their life is more than those scars. Those scars are beautiful because our
mm.
Savior has scars. He has scars of what he went through. When they touched his hands when he came back, they still saw his scars. He's God. He didn't have to have anything, not a blemish. So scars mean that we've been through something, that we sacrificed. Our lives has been almost sacrificed, but we made it. So when you
Amen.
look at your scars, just think Jesus had scars too. So, all right, for everybody that's out there, I just pray encouragement. If somebody has breast cancer, be there before they going through, especially out there. Even no matter what type of cancer, be there for them, because even though it might say it's negative on the test, they still going through some things. They're still looking at their body. They still know they're not the same. But just be there and be supportive. So, Tanya, I want to thank you for being a beautiful guest tonight. I want
Thank
to thank you
you.
for telling us that we can survive and thrive, and that we can be resilient. We can bend, but we won't break if we just keep the faith. So thank you so much. And everybody that watched, thank you. Share it, comment, like. I'll be back. Oh, no, I won't. I won't be back in November on Tuesdays. I'm moving my show to Wednesday in November only, and we're going to do a special thankful. Every show in November has a thankful theme, a thankful and grateful theme, because I don't think we thank God enough for the
Mm,
things that we do. We take some things for granted, that we get up and get out of bed. Until can get out of bed and I couldn't function on one side of my body when I couldn't move my arm. And I realized, I said, Lord, I took this for granted that every day I could sign my name. When I couldn't sign my name, I said, Lord, I need to be more grateful for health, grateful for the things that operate on my body, and grateful for when they didn't operate, I still had people that helped me. Friends, good friends are very essential to your well-being. That's why show yourself friendly, because you never know when you're going to need them to show that friendship back to you. When I tell you, Tanya, my friends showed up for me, they showed up for me. And I just want to tell my friends, I just want to talk about my first show. It's going to be being grateful for the friends that you have. And you're welcome. If you want to join me on a Wednesday just to talk about being grateful and thankful, you are welcome to come back, Miss Tanya.
thank
All
you.
right. So
Thank
I'll
you.
see y'all not this Wednesday. but the first Wednesday in November for the special edition of Being Thankful on the Ruby Girl Talk. You was about to say something. I'm sorry.
No, I just said thank you.
You're welcome. So good night, everybody. I will see you the first Wednesday in when? November.